So, it's been a while, and what does that mean? Well, I think I might have explained this previously, and maybe I didn't, but, well, a big reason videos have slowed down is just because the old microphone I was using died. It was starting to get really bad, sound-wise. And when I replace it, hey, I will upload way more frequently. As much as it's just easier to edit when it's just me, looking at me and with the camera, you'd think that would mean I could just do this stuff all the time, but I just don't really like doing it that way unless I really have to. So because of that, how much longer are you guys going to be waiting on the next Disney ranking video? This video will be coming out at the tail end of June. It is currently June 28th as I'm filming this, so I'm hoping to get it out the day after. But honestly, July. I think you'll be getting it in July. Because one good thing about the next one is it's the package film era. The wartime era, some people call it. I kind of prefer package film era. Because of the way those movies are made, if I went too in-depth into them, believe it or not, I'd be talking for way too long about them. They're all compilations. The ones that are just two shorts put together, that'll be easy. You can just go in-depth to both of the cartoons, and then the plot wraparound, which only one of them really has between the two. But for the ones that are a bunch of shorts, if you went in-depth into them, you'd have to go in-depth about every single, 2 to 4 minute short, or, some are 5 or 6 or whatever, and not all of them are created equal. It's like if someone did a video on the ABCs of Death, and did literally every single short. Do you really want that? You kind of just want to know what the vibe of the finished product is. So, for my own sanity, I need to do it that way. For the sake of the video, I need to do it that way. And I'm fine doing that in front of the camera. There's little reason to go super in-depth to over half of the package film era. Oops. Well, now that you know what I'm doing in regards to the next Disney ranking and how soon you should expect it, I need to do some housekeeping. I continuously forget to mention that I am an independent author. I put stuff online. And I know most people are like, oh, you mean through Amazon? I've tried that. I do have a fully published book through Amazon. I'm pointing at the JPEG right now. You can go buy that if you want. Go right ahead. I'd really appreciate that. But then there's some more personal stuff. Many, many years ago, I was actually published through an independent company for, unfortunately, a brief amount of time. It is a downsizing thing. I don't need to get into it. I shouldn't get into it. And when I was given the rights back, because thankfully, unlike television, when those kind of things fall through, the author, the creator, gets all the rights back. And I knew that just seeking out another publisher would probably be a death sentence to it. They would look at it as a bad luck sign, even though I wasn't the only one who, got pulled because of the downsizing. It was not my fault. It was no one's fault. But tell that to a publisher. Tell that to an agent. So I just redistributed it myself online. Not for free, but online. And I decided to make a revised edition. I used to mention that when I was running a Patreon, which there's no Patreon now because I've done those edits. And then I put all of them on Ko-Fi, Squarespace, Marketplace, and itch.io. The Squarespace Marketplace one, unless they finally change their rules, you need a business PayPal to make any money off of it. And I already have a PayPal attached to my email account, and I swear I read you can also get a business PayPal with the same bank account. They wouldn't let me. I kept trying, they wouldn't let me. So I ended up having to pull it from Squarespace. As for Ko-fi, I don't actually like Ko-fi because it's good. Okay, it's good for people who, entirely work online, work through, the goodwill of their fans. That's great. I didn't even like Patreon. So I'm not the kind of person to ask for donations. I don't want them. I seriously don't. Save your donations to the creators online who actually do survive that way. I'm just pulling my Ko-fi account as well. As for itch.io, that's going to be the main home for all the stuff from now on. Because, to say something I was supposed to say last year, I ended up being part of a charity bundle for the California wildfire relief. And even though I forgot to make a video posting about it, I didn't need to. 5 digits worth of people supported that thing, which is great. Like, are any of those people going to read the books that I put in there? I don't know. I'd appreciate it if they did. I'm just more happy that that money went to a good cause. Like, there were so many good things in that bundle, too. Like, Octodad was in it, you know? I don't care if I'm forgotten in it. I'm just glad that I got to use something of mine to help promote a good cause. As for what I'm doing right now, I am updating all of those books on itch.io. By the time you see this video, all these changes will already be live, so go ahead. But what are those changes? The original reprint... Before I even did the Patreon rewrites, I made this silly little comedy version of it. It's an abridged series kind of thing. It's just a couple pages of scripts where all the characters are like a parody version and they're just banging through the plot. I throw some pot shots at like the bits of writing I thought didn't age very well. I threw pot shots at abridging in general, and I don't even mean the comedy abridging. I mean actual licensed abridging. Like, there are jokes about the fact that some stuff is just cut for time and now makes no sense. And originally I did give that as a bonus to my Patreon backers when that was a thing. But now, I've just stitched it to the end of the original release. So anybody who decides to buy the original version, which is just presented the exact same way it was after the edits from the previous publishing company, with the exception that I had to erase the dedication names just because I don't really have a way to contact most of those people anymore. So I can't just assume that it's still the same, you know? You can't really do that. But then after that, you will see a picture of the brand new cover art I made for every single one of these. And then after that, it'll be like, for people who don't watch this video, we'll be like, oh, why are there still like 12 pages left? And it will be, hey, here's a funny comedy version. I hope you like it. As for the revised edition, I went through and I looked for spelling errors. It was just stuff I missed the first time, grammatical errors. And I figured I would leave it at that, but unfortunately I saw some stuff that I considered to be continuity errors for what I'm about to bring up next. So I smoothed those out too. I also added page numbers, because there were page numbers, but LibreOffice is weird. I use LibreOffice now because I'm not paying for Microsoft Office unless I like make it big or get back with like real publishers. I'm not paying for Microsoft Office. It's way too much money. But LibreOffice has a lot of problems. One of them being, if you don't tell it to make new footers, it will just decide randomly whether to use the same footer and header on every single page, which is what I would prefer in cases like this, or randomly decide that there are new headers and footers. So I had to continuously keep adding page numbers because about halfway through they stopped, and I didn't notice that at the time. So I had to go back and manually add page numbers, sometimes one page at a time. And also, you know how in real books, in the top left-hand corner is the name of the book, and in the top right-hand corner is the name of the author? I did that too, which also took forever because sometimes I had to do it one header at a time, and other times it just refused to understand what I was talking about. So all that's good. It's now fully professional, and I also decided to add the cover art to the first page, because the cover art is there on the storefront page, but it wasn't in the PDF. I don't know how I missed that one. I also don't know how I forgot to put an About the Author page at the end, so that's there too. And the very last page is a nice black and white version of the cover art. So there, it looks straight up just like a real official release, which is what it is, just directly from the author on his itch.io page instead of through a publisher. I also had to put a description, because these days, you have to tell somebody if there was no AI involved. I am so mad that this is a thing we have to do now. This is the original version. I did not go through that at all. You know, I don't. That was already done through a company. And then I took the comedy version, put that into PDF, and I went to the Adobe website and did their merge PDF thing. And I looked everywhere to make sure that thing does not use AI. It did not seem to say at all that it did. And Adobe is pretty blatant with how much they love AI. And the fact they didn't mention the word at all leads me to assume there is no AI in the PDF merge thing. If I find out later, please tell me if you know. So that way if I find out later, because I would rather the disclaimer be correct. So I will instead find a different way to merge them together if it did use AI. Because I'm not using AI. I do not support AI at all. Generative stuff is awful, horrific, it's anti-art. Even the stuff that isn't generative AI doesn't even tend to work. As for the thing that caused the continuity errors, I promised my Patreon supporters 4 years ago, when I finished the revised edition of my old novel, I would create what I called supplemental chapters. These were just going to be some bonus chapters that were supposed to take place in the past, with a couple I knew would take place after the events, but mostly in the past. Stuff that, you know, does not remove any context by not being there. Stuff that would just further flesh out the world and the characters. And it really was just because, you know, I'm really attached to this story. How could I not? It was the first thing I did that got published. Even if things, you know, even though I didn't become a multi-millionaire, I treat that story as if it's one of the most important things to ever happen to me, because it was. Finally did the supplemental chapters. And I figured this would be like 50 pages or something, you know? It's about as long as the revised edition. Which, speaking of, is longer than the original. I don't know what I did. I don't know how this happened to me. I somehow got better at taking longer to explain things without dragging on. This isn't Stephen King. You can't print this out and use it as a doorstop. I sent all of those backers the supplemental chapters already. So they already have them. They've had them for about 2 weeks now. So that's the question. How is the general public getting them? And will the general public really pay extra money for extra stories for a book they might not have bought in the first place? The revised edition too, no less? Well, I figured with how long these took me to get out anyway, the best thing these should be... There's a motorcycle or something. Oh, that's a lawnmower. I decided the best way to use these was, hey, wait a minute, these are a prequel, with some minor exceptions. If I just put a spoiler warning just before I do the ones that come after the events of the novel, I can sell this for nothing. The Narc May Extend supplemental chapters were renamed the Narc Free Samples. The world is getting this entire book for free. Go on Itch.io and you will see that it is completely for free. And honestly, what I'm going to hope I can do is, hopefully I can just keep it as like an e-reader version. And if you really like it, great. Buy the revised edition. Buy the original too if you want. I personally prefer the revised edition by a lot. And times are tough now. And so all the big companies, they're like, we know you're struggling to feed your family, and we're not, but we're charging you more anyway. And I'm having the opposite approach. I'm cutting the prices of all these in half. The original version was $2.99. I'm dropping that down to $1.50. And the revised edition was $9.99, and I'll be honest, in hindsight, I don't know what I was thinking with that. It's a very high quality product, but $9.99 for an ebook is ridiculous. It is going to be $4 flat. And you know what else was $9.99 that I'm dropping to $4 flat? I had this compilation of what are called 10-minute plays. They're plays you write that are supposed to be about 10 pages or less, because you can do about a page per minute. They're for festivals, mostly at school. And I did all the ones I wrote for college, was in college for 5 years, so all 5. But then I decided to actually look through my portfolio, and I found 2 other plays I wrote in high school for a 24-hour play festival. That's where, yes, you write an entire play with a bunch of your school friends, or like whatever, and make a play and perform it within 24 hours. It's my script. I own the rights to it. I put both of those in there. I also put the script to this one-act play. A one-act play is just a long play with no breaks in the middle, so no fading the lights. Oh, it's recession. I almost said recession time. It's not recession time, and that's what's happening now. Reception? No. Intermission. There's no intermission for you to go get snacks or go to the bathroom, because it's short. It's like 30, 40 minutes. And I found that script, and I put that in there. And I also found a radio play script I did for a class that was performed, so I counted that. The total went from 5 to 9. I even drew more cover art, because I draw the cover art for these things, and I did the cover art for those as well. And when I say cover art, it's not like the most detailed thing ever. It's just a stylized version of the title, because I like that. That's what I can draw. And I still lowered the price to $4. Heads up though, because LibreOffice is really hard to work with sometimes, there's no header and footer, and there are no page numbers. Someday, I will go through and do page numbers and headers and footers. The reason they're not there now is because, since this is a compilation, each story needs its own header with its name, and its own page number count. But LibreOffice refused to budge, so sorry, no page numbers, no header footer. At least not yet. When I eventually update it in like a year or 2 from now, unless they're like mega uber popular, which that'd be nice. I think I can wait a little while. After all the work I did, this took really long. This took over a week to do all of this, and it was just copy pasting and page numbers and stuff for the other one. This took a lot of time. But yeah, all of those are going to have a permanent price cut. It's not sale. It's a permanent price cut. And now that you let me ramble on about my books for a while, here's another video announcement. If I'm able to get a new microphone sometime soon, and I think that's in the cards, and honestly, I might get a new camera as well. This camera's battery is awful. I'm constantly charging it. I charged it all last night, and it's already on the last bar from this. I unplugged it before filming. This battery is awful. And its sound quality is terrible, even with the added mic. That's why I don't use it that much. I think before the year's over, I'll have a Disney Renaissance ranking video. In some ways, that's the easiest one. I've seen all those movies. I was going to say several times, but there's a couple I certainly have not seen as often. I did watch again previously to prepare for it, but there were some I watched all the time, and some I hadn't watched since like high school. But all the memories are fresh now. So as long as I can get a microphone, because these ones are too important to just do off the cuff, then yeah. Once I get a new microphone, I can start working on the Disney Renaissance ranking video. So get excited for that. Like and subscribe to get ready for that. And if you want to support me, the likes and subscribes do it, but go to the description to my itch.io. I'll probably put my link tree in there as well, so that way you see everything I'm on, in case for some reason you want to see what I talk about on Backlogged and Letterboxd. But yeah, itch.io is my permanent home for the stories I just don't think an agent or publishing company would understand the magnitude of. They're great stories that deserve an audience. Just tell them to Simon and Schuster. Package film ranking is coming soon. Renaissance ranking is hopefully coming not that long after. And as for steady updates, like I said, this camera gets more in the way of it than you think because its battery is pitiful, but I have some ideas to try to do something more consistent. And also follow my other channel for like the random stuff I throw up there. It's great. hope I didn't ramble too much, and hope you're excited about buying my stuff, or just reading the one that's free. If that gets you, great. If it doesn't, I hope you still really liked it, because that's the important thing, is to make art that people like. Money is secondary until you're starving. But I'm not starving right now, so, you know, do it if you think it's worth the time and the money. But please try to consider it worth the time and the money.